Right now, you are looking at a pair of sport gloves Vice on your screen, and I know these ones are pretty disgusting, so if you are a Vice glove enjoyer, definitely look away. You can see they have some very, very terrible knuckles. I get it, but these are field-tested Vice gloves that I bought for market, so I wasn't totally worried about it. But in this video today, we're going to be talking about why I decided to buy these sport gloves Vice and why I decided to get rid of everything, as the title says of this video. But first, just want to mention real quick, if you are looking to sell any of your CS2 items for cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment method, you should definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. Cashing out in CS can often be difficult or scary or whatever. So if you're looking for a safe, quick, and efficient way to cash out, I can help you out. I buy pretty much anything and everything for the right price. And of course, by selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, and my content as well. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, what I mean when I say I decided to get rid of everything. So if you know, Buff163 has been going through some craziness lately where now they are pretty much not allowing Westerners, anyone outside of mainland China, to sell on their platform. Now, when I first started my cash trading journey, I was exclusively going through Float, CS Float, and Buff Market because I didn't have access to Buff163 because I came up in the time period of 2023 where Westerners were not allowed to create new accounts on Buff163. But if you had an existing Western account on Buff163, you could still buy, sell, you could still use it. But eventually, I found out some methods to, use a VPN and use some other phone numbers and stuff and get access to Buff163. So even though I didn't start by using Buff163, I then eventually started selling on there, and it was this great platform that allowed me to start buying much more illiquid items and have access to buying and selling much more stuff. So I was selling and using Buff163 all the time, and this led to me amassing a lot of buff balance. But unfortunately, buff balance for Westerners is pretty useless because, yes, it is RMB, it's, Chinese money, yen, whatever, but it's actually much less useful than that because if I just had Chinese money, hey, I'd be able to convert it to dollars, I'd be able to cash it out, whatever. No, it's buff balance. It is basically paper money. It is basically useless to people who are not able to cash it out. So you have the options of trying to sell buff balance, but there was so many buff balance sellers that buff balance was getting harder and harder to sell. And then you also had, ways of either buying items for people on buff, but there were so many people doing that because they were trying to get rid of buff balance, or you had the option of trying to buy some items off buff, sell them onto float. But again, so many people were doing that, and that was causing this rift between the prices on Buff163 and the prices on float, where it was hard to get a good conversion of price on Buff163 to price on float. So it became this huge mess. But again, that led to me having a bunch of buff balance because it was very, very hard to get rid of. But now that Buff has decided to lock out Western sellers, and that also means it's going to be harder and harder to actually buy stuff for buff balance. Eventually, buff balance is likely to go extinct or whatever, and I don't even know. Maybe they're going to lock us out entirely eventually. So what I decided to do was get rid of all my buff balance, and there was no way to sell it in a good way where I wasn't going to get completely trashed on like fees and stuff like that. People are definitely taking advantage of people in scummy and scammy ways right now because of this panic and this huge stuff going on. There wasn't really going to be any other good things to do. Yes, I could have spent it on a bunch of investments, but that would have taken time, and I was in a little bit of a rush because I also wanted to get my balance off of the site before things got worse, before they locked out Westerners even further. So one of the items I decided to purchase was the Sports Glove Vice, but that's what I'm saying. When I got rid of everything, I got rid of all my buff balance. I cashed out. I emptied my buff balance bank deposit and bought some items. Some stuff I'm just going to try to be selling for cash later on. Some stuff I'm going to be keeping as investments of my own. So that is what's going on in this video. This is one of the things I picked up, the Sports Glove Vice field tested. Again, they were just in a price range that made sense. Like I said, I had a couple like $1,000 in buff balance. So these were, some expensive gloves. They're not insane. They're not 60K or anything like that, but they were pretty crazy. I also bought some other items for my own personal, again, I don't know if I'm going to be selling this for cash or holding it as investments or whatever. I got this AK-47 Wild Lotus. Again, I don't think this craft is very cool. Obviously, it's RMR stickers, but the AK-47 Wild Lotus itself, I do think is very cool. This is a well-worn AK-47 Wild Lotus, but I don't even think it looks that bad. I don't think the wear on these is that crazy. So much of the art and the beauty of it still looks very, very good, even in well-worn. So I'm not really too worried that this is well-worn. I also started to pick up some stickers and some patches because I do definitely like and believe in bordered stickers. So I picked up some stuff that fit in the price ranges of what I had in terms of buff balance. I got this Fanatic Cato 15 paper, which again, I think bordered stickers will do quite well in the meantime. I also got this Cloud9 Cato 15 hollow. Now, if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't buy this one. This one hasn't actually had that great a performance over the past year, but Cloud9 stuff I know has a huge fan base. People love it, and the Cloud9 Cato 15 is one of the more expensive ones. So I wanted to pick up some Cloud9 stuff. I like the colors, I like the brand, I like the fan base. I can appreciate that, and I think Cato 15s are going to continue to do well in the future. So owning a higher end Cato 15 hollow was something that seemed attractive to me. And then I also picked up a couple of Dead Men patches. Again, I did pick up a Dead Men's patch last year. I want to say at like $30 or $40 or something like that. And now these are much closer to like $100. So I had a couple $100 left, and I wasn't exactly sure what to pick up. So I picked up a couple of the Dead Men patches that I could find at good prices. I think these are very sick. I think they're very cool. I think they are kind of the next best option to the Bayonet Frog that kind of continues to climb and get more and more expensive. Dead Men unapplied patches have been doing insane, and applied Dead Men patches on agents are doing well as well. So those are the items that I picked up with all my buff balance. But then I also did want to show you guys kind of my inventory and where we were at. I bought a ton of these Stat Track Desert Eagle print streams, which this is actually not going that well so far. This was an item that I was buying off Buff 163 to try to convert to float balance to be able to cash out. At the time, this was an item that was actually similarly priced on Buff 163 and float, but since I bought them and had to wait for the trade hold and stuff, the price has started tanking. So I'm probably going to get wrecked on this a little bit. Hopefully not too hard. We'll have to wait and see. I believe I've shown you guys a lot of this stuff already. Here's a Stat Track M4A1S Golden Coil with some Olaf stickers on it. Pretty cool. This is factory new. This is something I bought in a cash trade I'm trying to sell. I bought a Hyper Beast set from somebody. This is the Nova Hyper Beast in factory new. This is the M4A1S Hyper Beast in factory new. Very, very cool skin line, obviously. And then the AWP Hyper Beast in factory new. This has a Vega Squadron sticker on it on the scope, which I do think is kind of cool as well. But cool to have kind of at least 3 of the Hyper Beast stickers there. Blue Phosphor, one of my favorite stickers, one of my favorite guns in CS2. Obviously, these sell so fast. People love these. I think these are honestly one of the better gun investments in the higher tiers as well. I don't really too often advocate for investing in guns, but I do think the Blue Phosphor will do quite well over time. And the Movistar Rider stickers on it as well, I do think looks really cool. So I'm happy to pick up Blue Phosphors anytime I can. I picked up a bunch of liquid AKs from this guy who was just trying to empty out a bunch that he had. Some Legion of Anubises, some Red Lines. Here's an Empress as well. Picked up this Flip Knife Tiger Tooth, which I think is a really cool item. I like the Tiger Tooth finish. Obviously, Flip Knife, definitely a decent knife. This is factory new. And then the Sport Gloves Big Game to pair up with it as well. I do think it's actually kind of a underrated, cool combo. So those are some gloves there. These are well worn, kind of beat up, but we'll make it work. We have a Butterfly Knife Autotronic, which is obviously, I love the Butterfly Knives. They are my favorite knife in the game. I'm definitely rocking with the Butterfly Knives over the Karambits, but this is minimal wear. Looks pretty cool. We have the Specialist Gloves Field Agent. I actually just sold a pair of these a little bit ago as well. The ones I just sold actually went for some decent overpay, which I was a little bit surprised for. But these are field tested, .329. And then a couple of final skins that I picked up here. We have the Souvenir AWP Desert Hydra from the 2021 Mirage Collection. This is minimal wear. It's got Navi, Pain, Mirage, and Copenhagen sticker on it. So it's obviously a new souvenir. And then finally, a gun that I'm always excited to pick up as well. We have the Fennec Fox, the Desert Eagle. This is in factory new as well with a Copenhagen or a Stockholm Mouse paper on it, it looks like. And then I can't remember what this is called, like the Baby Dragon foil or something like that on it. Fennec Fox, definitely a very, very cool skin from the Mirage Collection as well. So yeah, these are some of my latest pickups from cash trades, investments, and all of that. But yes, I have decided to empty out my buff balance to get rid of all of it. There are some people who are going to be holding on to buff balance for maybe the day where CS2 trading comes back for Westerners. They don't think, this buff ban is going to be permanent. There's also some people who are just holding on to buff balance because they're waiting to, use it to buy their own investments, or they're going to be buying people stuff on buff or whatever. There's really a ton of different options, but I've just decided it doesn't make sense for me. It's a little bit too risky and a little bit too stupid anyway, where I'd rather just have my stuff in items that I know I'm going to be able to hold on to. Maybe it'll get burned. Maybe they'll even go up in price. Maybe I'll make some money. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be selling all this stuff right away or holding on to it or whatever. I do think some of the stickers and patches I don't mind holding on to as investments, but some of the guns and the gloves I probably don't want to hang on to forever. But owning a pair of Vice gloves is always going to be pretty cool to me, so I'm always going to be excited about that. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.